Hey everybody, this is Bo back in the lounge. I want to say hello to our fans listening to us at 1.5 million locations and those military bases spread all over this great world of ours. We're going to head out to Colorado, Western State College, and get a chance to talk to their head football coach, Coach Stewart. How you doing, sir?
I'm very well, Bo. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Thanks for taking the time out of your schedule. I know the students will be showing up now.
Yeah, they'll be coming in here pretty shortly.
Coach, every year it seems like there's new stuff that happens in the coaching ranks. There's new changes going on, new faces showing up as far as athletes. You know, is there ever a constant for you guys outside of pressure?
As far as the type of kids, or could you elaborate a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. It's the type of kids that come into the program, that come in and out. You've got, after going 4 years with a whole group of kids, whether it's been 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you've got sort of the same style of kids for a little bit, and then suddenly they all change over, whether they're larger, smaller, quicker, and then the fact of all the changes that constantly go on in the ranks.
I think the game of football has evolved, obviously, and you see it at every level as far as the type of student athlete that is on the field, even at the quarterback position, which is probably maybe the most predominant in all of football, where it used to be you were bringing in a guy who could throw first and maybe not as good of a runner, where that position really across the country has become more of an athletic position, and the running part of it's almost as important, if not more important, than the throwing part. Across the board, I think football has evolved from the speed and quickness and explosive. It's more of that versus the bigger guy. If you rewind it back maybe 15, 20 years ago, a lot of football programs were recruiting bigger guys, maybe not as athletic. So the emphasis on speed and athleticism has certainly changed the game across the board, and really, the quarterback position is probably the prime example where there's a bunch of athletes at that position.
Absolutely, and it seems like every year there's been some new changes as far as, what you're trying to see from the student athletes that come into it. A lot of them are, wide open as a deer in the headlight as they hit their first season. The second season, they kind of expecting it. Some of them are kind of dragging their feet, and by the third year, it looks like they're ready to lock and load and probably beat up on some of the freshmen who come in to give them some hard time in the programs across the country. But as a coach, it's got to be at least rewarding at times to see those changes take place. But also, when the season's over, you got to look about what's going to change next season.
Certainly. Football's a developmental sport, and very few young people can come in from a high school right into college football and be able to play. And I think that's one of the most rewarding experiences as a head football coach and as a position coach throughout my career, is watching the development of those young people. Physically, obviously, in the game of football as they become more mature physically. But more importantly than that, it's probably the mental aspect. As they learn the playbook, as they grow up as young people, you see them come in as a freshman, and like you said, they're deer in the headlights and wide-eyed, and not just in the game of football, but all aspects of college life. And, then you watch the maturation of that young person. And one of the great things, the great teachers in athletics and in football in particular, is dealing with adversity, and you watch that person go through adversity. Sometimes, always, that's going to take place on a football field at some point or another. But obviously, it could happen in their home life too, or even their campus life, and going through that with them as a mentor and somebody who's maybe helping them through the college experience. So that's probably at this level, the Division II level, that's probably one of the most rewarding experiences that there is out there, is watching those young people develop, and then when they graduate from college and obviously finish their eligibility and they go on and are successful in their life.
Well, Coach, the other thing I think D2 does for a lot of student athletes is it gives them the same experiences as a larger college, but without the pressures. Everybody, I think, follows their big college teams that they have. Everybody's got their passions. But when you're a student in those I don't want to say meat grinders, but in that setup, it is very stressful on the athlete because the requirements are astronomical physically. Everybody suffers education-wise stress out on that freshman year. Whether you're incoming freshman at a D1 or a D2 or NIA, it is a big jump, but you throw sports into it, and the D1 caliber kids are now looking at the D2s or 1AAs to possibly have a chance to do something special in the program, but also to have a chance to really enjoy college. We interviewed a lot of athletes over the years, and a number of them saying that they wish they went to a smaller school because college went by so fast and the pressure was so high, they never really had a chance to really have a college life that even their parents may have had. You all can offer that, especially in a setting you have at your school.
Certainly, and I would agree with that. There's going to be a little bit less structure at this level, and everything comes down probably from the NFL all the way down to Division I, Division II, and we're a lot more structured maybe than we used to be maybe 20 years ago. But it's a lot less structured than what you're going to find at the Division I level, where they map out every second of your day. The small college or the smaller college or smaller university is a really big draw for that, especially depending on where you're located. If there are things for a young person to get involved with outside of their academics and outside of their sport program or football. So to me, I think that is a big draw. And like you said, it's an opportunity for a person who, maybe can compete at the Division I level, where they can, be a very good football player at the Division II level and still experience the total college experience. So you're not missing out as much. Obviously there's commitment to football at every level, and that takes up some of your time. But the bottom line is, at the Division II level, you can have it all. You can get a great education, you can play college football, and then experience a lot of the things outside of both of those arenas. Some of it outdoors, some of it in your campus life.
You look at the schedule that you have in front of you. You always play a really tough conference. You've got some D1s showing up on your program this year with Montana. Rob Ash's folks are pretty tough, from it looks like. And when you've got incoming freshmen who maybe have dreams, and there's every college football player. There's a certain type that, one, realistic is they'll never play in the NFL. They just want to play in college. Then you've got the ones that think they could play, and then you got the ones that know they can play the NFL. And with the schedule that you have offers a lot of media attention for that. Those incoming freshmen that you have that, may have, a bigger picture for themselves in football, that's a big chance for them right now.
Yeah, I think young person who plays the game of football probably has aspirations to one day maybe play in the NFL. Now, as you enter college and you kind of see what's out there, so to speak, and you become a little bit more realistic about what is available to you and what may be available to you after college football, then a lot of those expectations change. And actually, a lot, I think they've interviewed a lot of the guys who've gone on the NFL, regardless of level, whether it's Division I or Division II. But most of those young people aren't thinking the majority of them are not thinking, hey, I'm going to the league, I'm going to go play in the NFL. Most of them are hopeful about that. If they get the opportunity, great. But if not, then most of those people are fairly mature young people who are planning on getting their degree. They want to take football as far as they can, and then but they want to really enjoy the total experience. So you're going to find kids who know they can play in the NFL, like you said, and some that know they can't, and then some that think that maybe they can, maybe they can't. That's kind of part of that learning experience. I think once you enter collegiate athletics, and the majority of those young people actually are just like, well, I'm just going to take this as far as I can, and then we'll see what happens afterwards.
Coach, you've got some varsity players now that are helping you. Helping define what you are about, what your coaching style is. Who are those seniors that are picking up the torch and being the players coach on the field right now in the preseason, early season, and sort of instrumenting the mindset of your program?